Hi everyone, we're on to Module 3 now, written communication. Our objectives will be, I don't know why it's not changing, okay. Discuss the shift from paper to digital communication. You should be able to discuss the shift, the change from traditional to modern communication methods. Identify the benefits of digital communication methods. Identify the benefits of traditional communication methods. So what's the good, what's the bad? Modernizing our business messages. How has communication changed the way we work? Well, traditional business messages consist of letters, memos, and brochures, and things moved much, much slower. Modern business messages utilizes digital media such as emailing, texting, and chat. Digital is fast-paced, it's instant, there's no delay for messages. One thing that it suffers because of that is the fact that we do less proofreading than we should. Even if it's digital or not digital, we should be proofreading. Extensive one post can reach millions. It's convenient with different computer programs, and communications for change, team-oriented means sharing and contributions. Like Zoom, we can work together, we can meet together. Traditional media is readers' preference, maybe. It depends on the storage and archiving. Security, we have to keep that document where people that aren't concerned can't read it. It's convenient. I can read it whenever, I don't have to be there that moment reading it. I could read it later on if that's what I want to do. And it depends on the perception we want to give. Okay, some emails and memos. Internal communication would be a memo. If we send something external, we send a letter or an email. Email can go either way, of course. Compose emails and memos intended for an audience within the same company or team. What to do as the writer is create a clear subject line, write short, concise messages, proofread your message, use email, text when appropriate, and utilize social networking sites. Internal communication, what not to do as a reader. Do not use all capitals. It's considered shouting. So please use your capitals and lowercase. Reply to all only unless you need to communicate the entire group. I've seen a lot of people who just reply to all, and it's a good way to burn some bridges with your coworkers. Send an email when you're angry. I have to admit, I used to be guilty of this occasionally, and one of my bosses told me, Lori, walk away from the keyboard. I'm like, you're right, you're right, you're right. You need to, even though it's hard to show emotion sometimes in text, a lot of things when you're angry will sound worse than they do otherwise. You want to use abbreviations. You want to use company email, not use company email for personal reasons, and use social media. Do not use social media to communicate important information. I can't tell you you're fired on Facebook. That wouldn't be professional. Internal emails might be newsletters, event notifications, company policy changes, announcements, meeting requests, or a status update. And you got to pay attention to the structure and the format of your email. They really should only have one topic covered in one email. You make sure your subject line is quick and concise and use verbs, but you want to make sure it's descriptive. I can't tell you how many emails I get that say, help. Well, I usually think they're spam and ignore them. So you have to make sure that you use something that your readers, and viruses are quite often attached to emails. So there is a reason for me to be leery about opening something that just says help. Greeting should sound professional. Opening needs to be clear why the recipient is receiving the email. The message body to the point. Think of the audience. In the closing, you should state the desired outcomes and dates. Your signature needs to include your full contact information. It really should be, it's termed a lot of times above the fold. Like if I folded up the letter or the email, it should have all the information in the screen. I shouldn't have to scroll down. Now, a lot of emails we do scroll down, but that's kind of the goal is to keep it short because people don't scroll down and they miss the information. Think about the message before you're writing. What's the purpose? Who's your audience? Before you write, take notes and brainstorm. It'll keep you much more organized, I assure you. Reflect on your tone before you send the message. Strive for clarity and format it in an easy to read manner. And as always, please proofread. Memos, memorandums, or memos are quite similar to email messages. Memos, like emails, also contain a to and a from. A meaningful subject line states the reason for the communication immediately in the message. Memos require strong organization in the body of the message. Consider the following when you create a memo: your audience, who's it going to, the purpose of it, the style, the heading, which is another example of graphic highlighting, the body paragraphs and format, and it should have a closing call to action. Okay, email change and listservs. Early digital method of professional group communication. Can easily add many recipients. It provides information to customers but higher privacy risk. A listserv is created to help manage a number of users. I used to be on a couple of listservs, like one for business communications, and basically what it is a bulletin board or an email distribution that talks about a certain topic, for example, business communication. Oops, went too far. Hang on. Instant messaging and text. Text messaging, of course, has the ability to broadcast short bursts of information to phones. Instant messaging is informal, sent and received in real time. Got to be very careful. I know a lot of people who send out text messages with the wrong information on it. For example, I had a boss who wanted to leave early one night and was messaging me saying, "Oh, John's leaving, we can skip out of here early," and then sent the message to John by mistake, who just laughed it off and thought it was a joke because she sent it. It wasn't, but we did not go home early that day. IM is useful in interactive customer support. I use the chat function quite often at various websites to help me. All messaging should still be professional. Activity within a small group, brainstorm sessions when it makes sense to communicate using the following mediums. List as many as you could think of for both internal and external business communication. So there's our text messaging, our instant messaging, emails, and listservs and memos. Multimedia platforms and social media. Multimedia we could use for presentations, blogs, wikis, and podcasts. Social media external use: Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn are all examples of social media that we might use externally or internally too. I mean, LinkedIn is definitely has business reasons. Social media internal use allows large businesses to easily connect with employees across different sites. Types of external emails: requests, we've got claims, we've got complaints, we've got adjustments. Customer emails: personalize the email, be appreciative, give thought and to content and the structure, and put a buffer. Remember, we talked about buffers before when delivering bad news. Responding to critical messages from a customer: you want to try and contact them immediately. Describe the immediate remedy. Describe why the problem occurred. Describe the action to correct the problem. Offer positive thoughts. Responding to customers' request: provide an answer right away if you can with a summary along. Okay, that's it for Chapter 3, Module 3. Now move on to the assignment.